Welcome to the Embassy of Mike Graham. I'm Mike Graham, and this is this week's Heaven and Hell. Woke TV. Well, they've been in the news all week, haven't they? And they'll probably be in the news all next week. I'm talking, of course, about ITV. I'm talking about This Morning, talking about Phillip Schofield, Holly Willoughby, all the people that are involved from the very top, from Dame Carolyn McCall all the way down to Martin Frizzell, who's the editor of the show. Nobody knows what's going to happen, but I'll tell you what isn't going to happen. They're never going to find out anything, are they? Because they've done about 7 investigations already into what happened, and they didn't find anything. They went up to Phillip Schofield and said, do you know anything? He went, no. And they went, fine, that'll do. And then now they've decided to bring in a barrister to do an external investigation into why any of the other investigations didn't find anything out. I don't think they're going to find anything out at all. I think it's all going to be a big mystery, and they're going to end up doing a television series about what went wrong with Phillip Schofield. Who knows? I think they're all in hell. Put a sock in it. Prince Harry has finally seen the light. That's right, he's decided that he hasn't got anything else to say. So forget about the book that he wrote, forget about the Netflix series that was commissioned, forget about the interview he did with Oprah Winfrey with his wife Meghan, forget about all the other interviews he did with ITV, with NBC, with CNN, with all the other places around the world who wanted to talk to him about his amazing book Spare. He apparently has run out of stuff he wants to tell us. Well, I'm not surprised. I don't think he's got anything left, has he? Surely to God. I mean, we found out about his frozen todger, we found out about his brother's todger, we found out about his drug taking, we found out about his losing his virginity. I don't really want to hear anything else from Prince Harry. So I tell you what, if he promises never to tell me anything about his private life again or the royal family, I will be in absolute hog heaven. Filthy rich. Apparently, the rich have been complaining. It's not easy being rich. In fact, it's quite difficult. They say there's all sorts of hangers-on that you have to deal with. They've all sorts of problems that they can't sort out. You have many, many more worries when you've got loads and loads of money. Well, I'm sorry, you've got an awful lot of worries when you don't have any money as well. Somebody once said to me, you might be miserable when you're rich, but you can go to a lot more places and be miserable in them because you can afford to travel. Some people have to stay at home and be miserable. If all you can do when you're rich is moan, then why don't you just give all your money away and see how unhappy you'll be then? So I think you can all be in hell. Heavyweight flights. Air New Zealand have had an idea. They think it's a good idea to weigh you before you get on the plane. Now, looking at me, you might think that's not a good idea, but I've always had this as a plan. I've always thought airlines should be smarter about the way they book passengers and about the luggage that they allow them to take. Because here's what you should do. You should have an absolute amount of weight, which either you and your luggage adds up to. So if you're thin, you can have loads of luggage, and if you're fat, you can't have as much. So the total remains the same. So that means everybody who gets on the plane actually weighs the same. And that way, it's a lot easier to balance it, because Air New Zealand say they have to make sure that they get the right amount of people on one side of the plane to the same amount of people on the other side of the plane. But my point is, if you do it my way, it'll be heaven, because you'll never make a mistake. Smoke break. Does anybody smoke anymore? I don't see that many people doing it, but 1 or 2 do. Mostly they vape. But apparently if you do smoke, you now get about an extra week off in terms of a holiday because of all the time you spend going up and down the lift, going up and down the stairs, standing outside in the wind and the rain and the cold and trying to smoke a cigarette without it just blowing away. Well, I've got some news for people who smoke. You shouldn't give up, because if you do, basically, you'll have to work longer. You'll have to be more busy, and you won't be able to get out every now and again to have a cigarette. It's more and more difficult to smoke now, but I used to smoke. And now I'm beginning to think maybe I should start again, because then I can go back and get some more time off. So if you are a smoker, this is heaven. That was this week's Heaven and Hell. Don't forget, like, share and subscribe. And I'll see you next time in the Embassy of Mike Graham.